Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rangers review. Post-match briefing after Rangers 5, Hearts 0. We didn't see that. Well, maybe we did see it coming pre-match, Chris. I don't know. Emphatic win by Rangers today at Ibrox against Hearts. Felt like it could have been more. They scored their 5th goal, I think, well before the 70-minute mark, and they go 5 points clear. Celtic obviously in action tomorrow, but had the feeling, again, as we've been saying pretty consistently over the last few weeks, the feeling of a big one at Ibrox. An emphatic win, Chris, and an emphatic performance. That was good, wasn't it?
It's 5 goals, 5 points, 5 guys. It's just all the fives are aligning. 5-star showing to round it off. No, really impressive from Rangers. I went down in the press room for a sandwich at half time, and people just look at each other almost in disbelief at what they'd watched. It was 3-0. It was easily going on 4-5, whatever. Hearts came here as one of the form sides in the division, as we spoke about. Came here with a striker in Lauren Shankland who carries a real threat, who could have caused them a lot of problems, and Rangers basically blew them away. It was 5 going on 6, 7, 8 today. A sore one for Stephen Naismith and Hearts, but you have to give all the credit to Rangers for the performance. Not a failure in the side. Desser's got man of the match, but you could spend the rest of the evening here until we turn the lights off and beyond debating who should have got man of the match. A number of really impressive performances, and I say it's another one down, 11 to go.
Yeah, a big one. We're of course we'll break the game down in a little bit more detail, or a lot more detail on Monday with Derek. We'll try and get through some of your comments just now as well. The real John Adams, not the fake one, whoever that is, says excellent performance from everyone. Day in the life. What a team performance today. Every player on the park today for Glasgow Rangers played their part. What a game of football. And another comment here saying that is hands down the best performance, our best performance this season. I like what the boss man is saying. There's a story forming with this team. Chris, overall picture first. Rangers have 11 more games to go. If they play like that, they'll win the league title. Confidence continues to grow. Confidence that, again, to drop back, that the last time Hearts were here when Rangers won in injury time, that had the feeling of a big comeback to keep the season alive. Who would have foresaw this coming? Let's speak about the overall context first. Clement, when he was asked about the result, he said he's happy. There's a few more things he wanted. Gives the players a day off tomorrow, but very much focused on Wednesday, which is another huge game. But Hearts are an informed team, and Rangers totally blew them away today. And it didn't feel as though Hearts obviously they had a bad performance, but they were in the game at 1-0 and they kind of came into it a little bit. But Rangers were just ruthless, in all honesty. And again, I think that fed into the crowd, and the crowd fed into the performance on the pitch. Ibrox is a very different place to what it was a few months ago. I mean, how did you see the game overall, Hearts' performance, and also just the general mood around Rangers at the moment, which is as positive domestically at Ibrox as I can remember in years?
Like, you obviously get off to a great start. Diomande with another really accomplished finish. Nice touch. Finishes it across the goalkeeper, bottom corner. That gets Rangers off to a great start. I think at that stage, I was thinking there's potentially a 4 or 5 goal win on the cards here. Hearts, to their credit, I thought they got into a couple of nice positions before the second goal arrived. Never really threatened, never tested Jack Butland enough. And as soon as the second goal goes in, that's job done. That's the points wrapped up, and it's then just a case of how ruthless the Rangers want to be. How many goals do they think is in this game? As interesting, the manager obviously celebrates, has a fist pump, he has a roar, but as soon as he's done that, it's very much like cajoling them on its back. He's sending the message on to focus, to go for more. He knew that there was a result like this on the cards today. I think so after the third goes in, certainly after the fourth goes in, he's just willing the team on to go and score more goals.
Yeah, after it was 5-0 in like 60 minutes, and he was not quite moaning at them for over celebrating, but I think it's just the intensity that he has exuded since he came into the club, and it was there, Chris, when 80 minutes against Hearts last time when Rangers were 1-0 down, and no one in the stadium believed that Rangers were going to come back, and it felt like some of the players on the pitch didn't feel like they believed Rangers were going to come back into it, but they did, and I think a big part to do with that is Clement. Let's speak about Diomande. We've got a big read coming on him tomorrow with scout who first found him, coaches who have worked with him, loads of detail in there about a player Rangers are really excited about. They have good reason to be excited about him. Last week it was a strike with the left foot outside the box. I think right foot.
Right.
This week was it the right or the left this week?
Left.
Left. I can't remember.
Pass across, steadied it with the right, and then finished it with the left.
It was a few goals ago. Let's speak about him and Cortez in general, Chris. I tweeted out that the task for Rangers in January is to find players who can make an impact now, but also have value down the line. It's a sweet spot. It's difficult to get that exactly. You wrote a great piece with some information about why Rangers went for Niels Koppen, and a big part of that was changing the recruitment model overall to go and sign players like this who will not finish their career at Rangers but will make an impact when they're young, hopefully, and earn them a fair bit of money as well. I mean, it looks as if these two players are good players and they're going to be able to make a big impact between now and the end of the season, which was always going to be a necessity because the squad needed that, didn't it? It needed an injection of quality.
I think the signing of Cortez also it took care of an area where it was obvious there was a real need for Rangers to go and strengthen. There are not enough wide players on the squad, not enough quality in that area of the squad, in that area of the side. So Cortez addressed that. Diomande, I think he was one of the signings people are saying, well, yes, he looks a good player, but we don't need a midfielder. Well, no, we want a striker. Now, why are we signing midfielders? Well, over the last week, he's shown why if there's good players available and you have the money and you can do the deals, then you sign good players. You can never have too many good ones in a squad. He's certainly become already, having only been in the country 6 weeks or so, he's become a really, really important part of this side. We spoke pre-match about the great goal that he scored up at McDermott Park last weekend, capped off a really encouraging performance. Again, I thought it was excellent all round today, but that ability to add goals from the middle of the pitch, doesn't look afraid to have a shot. Clearly, very good at finding the corners. He just offers something different, and he just looks at every inch the player that we all thought Rangers were signing. We've obviously heard a lot about him. We've seen bits and bobs of him in terms of his earlier career, but what we've seen over the last week or so, if that doesn't get people excited about what he can potentially turn into, then nothing will. That's not to say we hype him up too much. That's not to say he's going to be a world beater, but he's certainly got plenty of really, really encouraging attributes. The manager again speaking positively about him after the game, and I say Rangers do have a really exciting player on their hands here.
Cyril Dessers, copy and paste from recent weeks. He does
from the entire season.
Yeah, I tweeted out at about 20 minutes, and Dessers had been caught offside 3 times, I think, and he'd missed it was offside, but he'd missed an unbelievable chance from close range. And I tweeted something like, Dessers is having one of those games. I will quote tweet this in 15 minutes when he scores, and he went and scored 2. It's now 11 and 13 starts under Clement. The question was, do Rangers have the goals to win the league? We've obviously looked this week at the other end. And if you've not read that article or watched the video, you can, after another clean sheet today, you can go and do that. Some of the reasons behind, not least Jack Butland today, who made a few big saves to keep his clean sheet late on, Chris. But Rangers have spread the goals out between their January arrivals and Dessers today, which that is what they need to do between now and the end of the season. Fabio Silva came on, scored a great goal, almost scored an even better goal. Playing in that number 10 position, which is maybe something we'll see a little bit more going forward. But just firstly on Dessers, he's going to score more goals between now and the end of the season. He's going to miss more chances, but he just keeps going. and that's 11 and 13 under Clement after 1 and 6 or 7 before that. I mean, the numbers don't lie, do they?
No, they don't. I think people are going to have to get accustomed to that type of performance from Cyril Dessers, and us perhaps saying some of the same things when we're assessing and analysing his game, because that is clearly just what he's about. He gets in good positions. Sometimes he gets there in the offside position. He scores good goals. He misses good chances. If he scored every chance that he got, he wouldn't be here. He'd be playing at a far higher level. But he does. He takes up some really good positions. He gets himself in the right place at the right time. I say some of them find the back of the net. Some of them don't. One of these days, he's going to get a hat trick. Actually, I thought when we saw Silva warming up and then getting, I looked at Dessers and his face was like, "Oh no, I'm going to get hooked here. I'm not going to get the chance." It was also Lawrence that then came off, and as you say, Silva comes on and plays. I thought really impressively in that number 10 role. Des, I think the best chance for the hat-trick is the ball from Tav that flashes across. He just not quite there, almost get caught in two minds. Do you hang back and wait for it, or do you go and you take the chance at the back post? It didn't quite fall for him, but one of these days he's going to get the hat-trick just because of the number of chances that he gets over the course of a game. He's taken his fair share of knocks over the course of the campaign. There's a lot of comment, a lot of criticism of him. You can't fault his mentality. Of all the things, of all the holes that you can pick in his game, you have to really hail his robustness. He's played a lot of football for Rangers, which in a season where there's been so many injuries, so many guys have fallen out of the squad. He's been so important just to have someone that can play in that area of the pitch, and he keeps going back for more. Like, he misses chances, he takes a bit of stick, and we talk about transformations under the manager. So many players have raised their levels over the last 4 months or so since the manager came in. Very few matched the output of Dessers in terms of what he's been able to produce.
Dujon Sterling won the ball back really well for the second goal. I think that's probably important to mention, because Hearts actually had a wee spell after the game went 1-0, Chris, where I thought, they're coming into it here, getting into the box, looking pretty dangerous. Another player I want to talk about, and there's quite a few comments before we get into some other points as well. Ridvan Yilmaz, Mark says, Ridvan was awesome. David saying, what a fullback Ridvan is. Thomas saying, Ridvan among a clutch of top performers. And another comment here from Stuart saying, Ridvan should be our left back for the foreseeable future, getting better game by game, another man of the match performance. And just finally, I would like to endorse this from Socrates, maybe not the actual Socrates. What about the people who said that Ridvan was too small? He outjumped Shankland, and what a game he and Rangers had. He just looks better. Again, another player, I feel like sometimes you feel like you're repeating yourself at the moment, Chris, and it's good to be repeating yourself positively rather than negatively, but Rangers are going to get a lot more money for him than the 3 million, 4 million, 5 million that was being mooted in January for a potential return to Turkey with Galatasaray. There's only been one moment I can think of, and maybe it won't start at Rugby Park. I'm not sure, because Clement wants to rotate and keep players fresh. But I think the only moment where his size has been successfully targeted was in that reverse game against Hearts. Since then, okay, maybe he's not winning every single header, but he's not losing everyone. He's putting his players off, opposition player off as well. And what he gives you on the ball, I think, is energy, forward running, mistakes at points, but he's just been such a positive addition at left back. He's clearly Rangers' first choice left back just now, and it was 18 months of he's got promise, but he's not doing it. And me saying on the video, he looks good, but then you got not much to back it up, do you? Because he's not done it routinely. He's now Rangers' best left back, and he's been one of their best performers under Clement.
Like on a day when you score 5 goals, your centre forward gets 2 of them, your summer sign or your January signings all contribute in such an impressive way, and you're still talking about a small left back. It probably tells you how good he was and how impressive he's been. I've been critical of him over the course, not because I didn't think he was a good player. I thought that there's always been something there. My fear was, is he robust enough? Is he able to churn out the games? I think the fact that the manager has rotated him and Barisic so well has clearly helped him. He's not been asked to do what Tav does or what Goldson does and play almost every minute of every game. The manager has handled a number of players in the squad really well. I think Yilmaz has definitely benefited from that. Going into next season, whether Barisic is here or not, Yilmaz is your first choice. I don't see Rangers going out. If they retain Yilmaz, I'd be surprised if they go and spend a lot of money to improve that position when he has come on. When he's come on as much, just looking at someone to provide that competition, to give him the odd rest game. Overall, I think he's been excellent. I say on a day where so many encouraging performances, I think the fact that we're getting as many comments saying Yilmaz was one of the standout guys, I think that tells its own story, and fair play to him.
I can't believe we've not talked about this yet, but Big Shug brings it up. Some ball from Big Suter for Dessers' first goal. What a cross from a centre back, and I think everyone thought it would be offside just because
it was Cyril Dessers on the end of it,
but also because of the way that the I don't know, just the angle I was sitting at, I thought was offside as well, but that was an unbelievable cross from Suter,
taking the entire Hearts defence out of the game in one swipe of his boot. Now, again, I thought Suter was really good overall. Myself and Derek spoke about him during the week. A guy who has taken his chance. Obviously, Balogun being out injured, I think people may have assumed that once he had his mask fitted and he was good to go, then he'd come back in. But Suter really, really good over the last few weeks. Strolled through the game today. I said Rangers really nullified the threat of Shankland in particular, but Hearts as a whole. I know the manager mentioned post-match about the number of shots that Jack Butland had to face in the second half. That's maybe one area where he was slightly upped, if you like, but I think he was nitpicking to a large degree on that. But I think overall, just a number of really impressive performances, a number of really impressive moments. And I say if Suter can ping a couple of them in between now and the end of the season, it will certainly bode well. If Big Dessers can keep himself on side like he did, then I say that's certainly a relationship that we never saw coming in many stages of the season.
Oh no, I know, and you know, we're sitting here talking. We're going to speak about the game in more detail on Monday. We've got loads of coverage on the website. As I say, a big read coming on Diomande tomorrow. If you've not subscribed, got almost 500 on with us. If you've not subscribed to the website, please do. Loads of great content for you. The best way to support us in a video term as well. But Chris, I guess we're kind of we're at the games every week, we're at the press conferences, like everyone watching. You're totally immersed in what Rangers are doing, and at the moment it does just feel. I keep going back to it. I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time, but it does just feel like it feels like a different season to the one that Clement took in, and you know, we're listening here to players going out of the. Players going out to the cars being shouted at in a positive manner, as opposed to the way they were being shouted at the start of the season. Want to talk as well. I think another good performance from John Lundstrom, who continues to, wrote about him this week, someone that Rangers want to keep. You can read that piece on the website. Another good performance from him. Tom Lawrence as well, mentioned for him, who he did really well until he was taken off around 60 minutes. Fabio Silva, could we see him more in that number 10 position? I mean, another goal. So I'm not saying that he can't score goals. He clearly can, and what a fantastic strike it was. But I'd like to see more of him on the pitch. And I guess that I don't think we'll see him at number 10 too much, because Clement will want to rotate his striker. And Silva's the only option for that. And Kemar Roof came off the bench today, so we'll see what happens there. There's no Todd Cantwell today, and that was a blow, because he's been probably Rangers' form player of 2024, but Clement just continues to find solutions. He's done that since he came into the club. Maybe we'll see Silva there a little bit more, because I thought it was a really impressive cameo again from the bench.
If that strike towards the end had gone in, that's potential goal of the season. That's one of the ones that you're putting on your end of season highlights reel. If all goes well, he's clearly a very, very talented player. He's spoke a lot about him over the course of the last few weeks. He just got something that bit special. He should be, now, given the clubs that he's played for, given the money that has been paid for him, he should be too good for Scottish football. I think at times he's shown that he can be a class above. He's obviously got a huge role to play between now and the end of the season. If Roof can stay fit, you can maybe see that rotation between Roof and Dessers. That would then allow Silva to get more game time and maybe in different areas of the pitch, and dropping back into that number 10 role. But I thought Lawrence was excellent in there. Diomande, we know, can move forward as well. So plenty of selection headaches for the manager, but in terms of issues to solve, they're certainly nice ones for a change.
They are nice ones for a change. Right, we're going to leave it there. We will be back on Monday morning, obviously, to look at the game in a bit more detail. Loads of coverage coming your way across the website and the YouTube channel. Tomorrow we'll have a long read on Mohamed Diomande's journey in his career with Right to Dream, and how he came to be at Rangers, a little bit about his start here so far. So subscribe to read that if you're not subscribed already. Until then, thank you for joining us. We look forward to speaking to you a little bit more about a fantastic result for Rangers, who beat Hearts 5-0 to move 5 points clear at the top of the table with a game in hand of the Scottish Premiership. That felt very far away when Hearts were last at Ibrox in October. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, which I'm sure you will, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.